The story of Bobbi Kristina Brown has once again returned to the spotlight as renewed public interest, resurfaced interviews, and emotional recollections from friends and family continue to spark conversations online. For years, many people believed they already understood the heartbreaking story surrounding the only daughter of legendary singer Whitney Houston and R&B star Bobbi Brown. But recently discussed details and forgotten moments are causing fans to look at her life in a completely different way. For much of her childhood, Bobbi Kristina lived under an intense spotlight that few people could truly understand. Being born into one of entertainment's most famous families meant cameras followed nearly every stage of her life. From red carpet appearances to family reality television moments, the world watched her grow up while constantly comparing her to her globally adored mother. Yet behind the glamorous public image was a young woman struggling with enormous emotional pressure. People close to the family often described Bobbi Kristina as deeply sensitive and protective of those she loved. While the media frequently painted her life through headlines and controversy, those who knew her personally said she wanted stability, privacy, and genuine relationships more than fame itself. In recent years, several resurfaced interviews and comments from family friends have reminded audiences that her personal struggles began much earlier than many realized. One detail that continues to shock fans is how emotionally connected Bobbi Kristina was to her mother. According to multiple interviews given over the years, Whitney Houston and Bobbi Kristina shared a bond that went far beyond a typical mother-daughter relationship. Whitney reportedly called her daughter her greatest achievement, and Bobbi often described her mother as her safest place in the world. Friends of the family have said the two were nearly inseparable, especially during difficult periods in Whitney's career and personal life. When Whitney Houston tragically passed away in 2012, the loss devastated Bobbi Kristina in ways the public could only partially see. Many fans remember the emotional images captured during Whitney's funeral, but insiders later claimed that the young star struggled severely behind closed doors. Family members reportedly worried constantly about her emotional state as she attempted to process unimaginable grief while the entire world watched. At the time, many headlines focused on speculation, family drama, and rumors. However, recent discussions online have shifted attention toward the psychological toll of losing a parent so publicly. Some commentators now believe Bobbi Kristina never truly had the opportunity to grieve privately. Every appearance, every statement, and every emotional moment became national news. The pressure only intensified as people compared her pain to her mother's highly publicized struggle. Another part of the story now being revisited involves the intense family tensions that surrounded the years after Whitney Houston's death. Reports of disagreements between relatives frequently made headlines, with different sides reportedly clashing over Bobbi Kristina's well-being, finances, and future. While tabloids often sensationalized these conflicts, newer conversations suggest the environment around her may have been far more emotionally overwhelming than previously understood. Many fans are also revisiting old interviews where Bobbi Kristina hinted at wanting a completely different life than the one the public imagined for her. Though she occasionally explored music and television opportunities, some friends claimed she dreamed about stepping away from fame altogether. According to several reports over the years, she hoped to build a quieter future focused on family, creativity, and emotional healing. One of the most talked about subjects in recent renewed coverage is her relationship with Nick Gordon. Their relationship drew enormous media attention and controversy during her lifetime. At the time, opinions were sharply divided, with some believing he supported her emotionally, while others questioned the relationship entirely. As documentaries and retrospective articles continue revisiting the case, public debate around their relationship remains intense. Some individuals close to the situation have argued that Bobbi Kristina desperately wanted someone she could trust after losing her mother. Others believe the emotional vulnerability she experienced during those years made her particularly dependent on people around her. These discussions have reignited broader conversations about mental health, grief, and the dangers of isolation following traumatic loss. Fans have also begun re-examining how harshly the media treated Bobbi Kristina during her most vulnerable moments. Old television clips and online commentary from that period now appear especially cruel to many viewers revisiting them years later. Critics argue that rather than offering compassion, much of the entertainment industry turned her pain into spectacle. The renewed reflection has led some people to question how celebrity culture handles young stars dealing with trauma. Social media discussions have played a major role in bringing Bobbi Kristina's story back into public conversation. Viral clips featuring Whitney Houston speaking lovingly about her daughter have spread widely online, introducing younger audiences to their close relationship. Many viewers have commented that seeing these moments makes the tragedy feel even more heartbreaking because of how deeply connected the two appeared to be. Others have pointed out that Bobbi Kristina spent most of her life trying to escape impossible comparisons. Being the daughter of one of music history's greatest voices came with extraordinary expectations. Even casual public appearances often sparked conversations about whether she would follow in her mother's footsteps. Some observers now believe that pressure created an emotional burden few people could withstand. Recent documentaries and retrospective features have also focused more heavily on Bobbi Kristina as an individual rather than simply part of Whitney Houston's legacy. Supporters say this shift matters because for years she was often discussed only in relation to tragedy. By examining her personality, dreams, friendships, and ambitions, many people now feel they are finally seeing a fuller picture of who she really was. Friends who spoke publicly after her passing described her as funny, caring, and intensely loyal. Several recalled that she loved making people laugh and often tried to protect others emotionally even while struggling herself. These stories contrast sharply with the chaotic public image frequently presented in tabloids during her lifetime. Another heartbreaking detail receiving renewed attention is how young Bobbi Kristina truly was during the most difficult periods of her life. While headlines often portrayed her as a celebrity figure surrounded by controversy, supporters now emphasize that she was still navigating adulthood while dealing with extraordinary grief and pressure. Many believe the public forgot how overwhelming such circumstances could be for someone so young. The similarities between the tragedies involving Whitney Houston and Bobbi Kristina have also continued to fascinate and disturb the public for years. Many fans still describe the parallels as almost impossible to comprehend. As renewed coverage circulates online, emotional reactions have resurfaced across social media platforms, where people continue expressing sadness about how both lives unfolded. Family members have occasionally spoken about the pain of constantly reliving these events through media coverage. For those closest to Bobbi Kristina, the endless public fascination has reportedly made healing extremely difficult. Yet many supporters believe revisiting her story with greater compassion could help correct years of sensationalized narratives. There has also been growing discussion about the entertainment industry's treatment of celebrity children overall. Bobbi Kristina's life is increasingly viewed as part of a broader conversation about young people growing up under relentless public attention. Experts and commentators argue that children of major stars often face unique emotional pressures that are rarely understood by outsiders. Several recent opinion pieces have suggested that Bobbi Kristina's story reflects the darker side of fame itself. From childhood onward, her life unfolded in front of cameras and headlines. Every family issue became public discussion. Every emotional moment risked exploitation. Critics now say society has become more aware of the human cost attached to that kind of visibility. At the same time, many fans continue celebrating the joyful moments Bobbi Kristina shared publicly with her mother. Videos of the two singing together, laughing backstage, and appearing at award shows remain widely shared online. These memories have helped reshape public perception, reminding audiences that her story was not defined only by tragedy. Some supporters believe renewed interest in Bobbi Kristina's life may also encourage deeper conversations around grief counseling and emotional support systems for young adults facing traumatic loss. Mental health advocates frequently note how sudden tragedy can dramatically affect emotional stability, especially when experienced publicly. Even years later, public fascination with the Houston Brown family remains powerful, but many observers say the tone of discussion has changed significantly. Where older coverage often focused on scandal and speculation, newer conversations appear more reflective and compassionate. Audiences increasingly seem interested in understanding Bobbi Kristina as a person, rather than simply consuming shocking headlines. Entertainment historians have also pointed out that Bobbi Kristina inherited both the privileges and burdens of extraordinary fame. She was connected to music royalty from birth, yet that same visibility often deprived her of privacy and normalcy. The tension between those realities shaped much of her public life. As fresh conversations continue spreading online,